We're here at the Intercontinental Shanghai Pudong, and all this week we've got a fabulous French chef who's going to be teaching us cocktails. So let's go meet him. Hi, Laurent.
Hello.
Hi, how are
really
you?
Nice to meet you?
Oh, it's great to be here. So I heard that we're doing cocktail party this week.
Yes.
Okay. What made you think of doing cocktails?
It's because of my background, because I've done a lot of cocktail parties and reception buffets in the US, in Europe,
Okay.
and now in Asia, and this is something I think is the most appropriate when you receive people at home.
So, what is the first dish that we're going to learn?
Okay, today we're going to do the tuna on wonton wrap,
Okay.
which is a tuna tartare ceviche on top of a wonton wrap. It's a very simple thing to do.
Okay, so why don't you come along with me? We'll go to the shops, buy our tuna, wonton wrappers, and then we'll come back and we'll teach you how to make this dish. Well, the first thing that we need is a really nice piece of tuna, and this is sensational, Bess. This is actually in the frozen section because the fresh section I didn't find anything, so this is amazing. Beautiful colour. I think it's going to be perfect. So let's go get the rest of our ingredients. Okay, these lemons, okay, we see it needs some of this. It's going to be perfect to put with our the tuna, and actually he also wanted me to get some lime, so I'm going to grab that. For the wonton wrapper, actually I recommend going to normally a local market to get that because you know it's going to be nice and fresh. So that's all I need to get. Now we can go back and start cooking. Okay, so we've got all our ingredients in front of us. Our lime, coriander, lemon, our wonton wrapper, sesame, and also a beautiful piece of tuna. So, how do we actually make this dish?
Oh, actually, we're going to start by deep frying the wonton skin.
Wonton. Okay, so we're going to learn how to do this.
Exactly. So you want to be a little careful for this episode because we're using hot oil. So we start with the wonton skin. This one is not square, which is perfect because it's going to get us. We're going to have to make it square a little bit.
Okay.
And you don't need to make it perfect at all. What you want to do is to get something that be a shape, triangle shape, square shape. In case we go for triangle. Okay. So the trick is we put them back together. And now we're going to make it. This will be a little too big, so I'm going to cut it a little smaller, like this.
So you don't want it to be a complete, okay.
Yeah, I don't want them too big because after it'll be a big bite. We don't want
Okay.
Then you want to use no water whatsoever near what we're going to be doing here, of course. It will be a big problem.
Oh, look, and it just naturally curls.
Yes, and that's what we don't want.
Oh, you don't want that?
No, we don't want them to curl too much. We want them to curl. So you see?
But
it's fighting with it. There you go.
There we go. So with this then, we've got to make sure that we're not putting too many in at the same time.
No, absolutely.
And we don't want them to curl.
Not too much. A little bit, just the little hand.
Shape,
exactly.
Not to curl up.
That's why we take wonton skin over pretty much any other skin because that will be the one that will do the best job for us.
Really?
And we don't want to wait for it to be dark. Because you see, as I'm
it's cooking.
Yes, as I'm taking it out, it's the
still
color.
Cooking. It's still changing.
Exactly. So if you wait for the perfect color in a pan, you're going to end up with something burnt.
Okay. So we've got our wonton wrappers.
That's ready.
They're ready. Now we move on to our beautiful piece of tuna.
Exactly. So that's, if you do a cocktail, that will be the last dish you do because you can have this done a few hours ahead.
Yes.
As long as they don't get soggy.
Yes.
And the tuna is the thing you want to treat at the last moment. We have a little piece of yellowfin tuna, which is something you will find pretty much anywhere. It's packaged, sous vide usually. And like any pieces usually of tuna, at some point it's been frozen to protect you from whatever could be in the fish.
So that's a good thing?
Yes, that's not a bad thing at all. Because completely raw fish, there is a risk. There is a risk. So this is something you'll find everywhere. So what you want to make sure when you buy your tuna is that it's not something that is full of water. So I'm going to press on it. You see, because when they are sous vide like this and they defrost, sometimes they have excess of liquid. Yes. And you can see the quality of this one because you don't have too much of it.
Beautiful, isn't it?
And that's totally a thing you could find anywhere. completely reasonable price.
Okay. Okay.
You don't need to have the best tuna. If your tuna is this color, there is a problem. You want something like bright red, you know.
That's what I think too.
The little rainbow thing.
So how are we going to cut this?
Okay, so what we do, we get rid of a little piece at the end. And what we want to do is to cube it. So there is not really the perfect way to do it. You don't need to make it too small.
Okay.
You don't need to make like the chefs.
So, I mean, tuna anyway, like sashimi is basically you can eat it raw.
Absolutely.
Now, for this, when we're talking about the colour, you want a bright sort of red colour. You don't want like a brown sort of...
No.
Once that happens, you know it's not so good. But there has been a lot of tuna I've seen which doesn't have that bright redness to it. It's a very pale pink.
Yeah, that's what we have here.
Well, I don't know. This I still think is quite good redness to it. But I've seen stuff that is, you know, a lot paler than that. Is it the different variety?
Yes. If you go from red tuna to blue tuna to yellowtail, then you have completely different grades.
Okay.
You know, when it comes to the world of sushi, I mean, I'm not an expert, but because it's very complex. I mean,
yeah, sure.
One fish, two fish right next to each other for you and I will be looking just like the same, and there will be like about 3 or 4 times different price. It depends on the flavor, the texture, where they were caught.
Okay, so we've done that. We've got our wonton wrap. Now, what else do we need to do?
What you do, if it's not small enough, you should do like this.
Okay.
But you don't want to reduce this to oblivion. The one thing you don't want to do is to put it in a mixer. You don't want to do that. Okay. Because it will take off the texture completely.
Okay.
So what I do is
put that into the bowl.
Yes.
So what else? What other ingredients do you need now?
What we use is really the most basic. What we're going to use is absolutely the most basic way to do marinated fish. Okay. Which in that case is going to be lime, lemon, olive oil.
Lime,
lemon. Yes, olive oil.
Olive oil.
Sesame, and sesame oil and olive oil. Okay. What you want to use is extra virgin, absolutely. Okay. So we're going to do the seasoning. Yes. So this time we use lemon.
Lemon, yeah.
A little lemon. So we have a small proportion, so we're going to do a little squeeze. Okay. Lemon. I'm going to mix a little of lime in this because the lime is going to bring a little bit more tartness, a little bit more Asian flavor than the regular lemon. Okay. Okay. And then we're going to...
Olive oil, right?
Yes. So
I've got the right.
The thing about this, when you do this, is you have to test it. Okay. You cannot know ahead of time exactly what it's going to be. So you just mix it like this, a little olive oil,
okay.
Oil.
There we go. Okay, so how much?
A little bit. Go ahead. Perfect. Okay. And then salt.
Now, just to let you know, we're actually using the extra virgin olive oil for this part. So, because we're not cooking it, it's good quality, it's normally a little bit more expensive, and it's got a lot of fabulous flavour. Yes. So this is the point that you would use extra virgin olive oil.
Absolutely. Okay. And now we're going to put the little
bit of sesame. So I like that. You've got some really more sort of Southeast Asian flavours, especially with your wonton, and also your lime and sesame oil is making it slightly sort of, I know they say it, it's a bad word, like more of a fusion Asian sort of dish. Yes. I'm not keen on the word fusion, but I have to say it's got those modern Asian. That's better, isn't it? Modern Asian.
Fusion, it's not confusion, so we'll be fine.
Exactly, exactly.
But what I wanted to tell you, I need a little bit more lemon on this line. Okay. What I wanted to show you is the basic one, but you can stretch that to infinite because you can end up using ginger and a lot of other spices.
So many different things.
And of course we're going to put the coriander at the end. Okay. So the coriander I'm going to put in the mix. Some people put it on top. Yeah. I prefer to put it in the mix. If you were doing something like with calamari. Yes. That would do extra flavor through it. Yes. Okay. Then you will use the stem because that will be so much stronger. And then we will marinate it. This is an instant recipe. But some other things like ceviche.
Where you marinate over a little while.
Yes. Okay. You can marinate sometimes for 6 or 8 hours. So then it's a cooking process.
Put that in there.
Yeah.
And mix that up for you.
It up. Thank you. Thank
you
so
here's your presentation plate.
Exactly.
Move that there for you.
Thank you. You see, I don't set up this in the plate because I'm going to mess up the plate. So when you do cocktail parties, you want it to look really clean. Right, okay. So you put it like this. Ah! There you go. You don't want to put it too much.
Because you want it not to fall apart while you're eating it, right?
Yes, exactly. You make it if you're not too sure about presentation, you do something very simple.
Oh, yeah. See, the thing is, you put the effort into the good flavors.
Exactly.
Oh, you're going to put sesame with it.
Just ready to give a little character to your dish.
Before we actually, now that we've finished this, I actually have a question for our audience. Where does tuna normally get farmed from? What is the main ocean that it's coming from? Let's see if our audience knows the answer.
In the deep ocean.
The ocean? In the sea? Where is tuna basically coming? It's a deep sea fish, right?
Yes. So now we get tuna from a lot of places, even from North the Indian Ocean, which amazingly is very high quality.
Okay.
Of course, we get a lot from the Pacific.
Right.
And then from where I was from, the Mediterranean Sea, we have different tuna.
But basically, it is a deep sea fish.
Yes.
I'm going to try one of these because it looks so good. And see, this is, cocktail party. I'm talking, got a drink in my hand, got this in it. It's not all breaking up. Chips often, when you bite it, it'll all break up. This is actually quite sturdy as a little plate. This is a good one for a person that's just beginning in the kitchen.
Exactly.